what I brought back from tomorrow. I know what it feels like to come back from tomorrow. I want to say that plainly before anything else because it is the only honest place to start. I did not come back with a gift I can hand to someone. I did not come back holding proof. If you asked me to show you what I brought, I would have nothing to put in your hands. And still I came back with something. Let me try to explain what I mean. Because it is easy to misunderstand at first. I do not mean that I returned with powers. I did not learn how to stop time, or slow it, or step outside of it the way people imagine in stories. I cannot predict what will happen tomorrow, next week, or in 10 years. I did not return knowing the future. Not mine, not anyone else's. If that's what you expected from a story like this, I have to tell you now, that is not what happened to me. What came back with me was something quieter than all of that. Knowledge, understanding, and a feeling hard to describe, but unmistakably, when it happens, that I had moved one step closer to whatever had been guiding me through all of this. One step, not a leap, not an arrival, one step. It usually happens while I'm walking, not doing anything dramatic, not in a moment to build for significance, just walking down an ordinary street, past ordinary buildings, among people going about their ordinary lives. Nothing around me changes when it happens. The road stays the same road. The buildings stay the same, stay exactly where they were the day before, and the day before that. People keep walking past me, wrapped up in whatever they're wrapped up in, without knowing that anything is happening at all. Because from the outside, nothing is. But inside my mind, something begins to open. My thoughts start moving between what I'm seeing in front of me, what I already understand from everything that came before, and what I am still trying to understand, still reaching for, still turning over without an answer. That movement, that quiet motion, between the seen and the not yet understood. That is where tomorrow becomes real to me. Not because I can point to it on a map, I can't. I've never been able to. Not because I can prove it to you, or to anyone, exactly when I will reach it. I can't do that either. And not because it shows me what is going to happen, it never has, not once. Tomorrow becomes real to me because of what it awakens inside my mind while I walk toward it. My mind bursts with ideas, grounded ones, not fantasies. Imagination becomes part of the search itself, not separate from it. It lets me take an ordinary moment, something I might have walked past 100 times without a second thought, and approached it from a completely different direction than I would have before. The moment itself doesn't change, time doesn't stop, nothing bends. It is my understanding that changes. That's the whole of it. That's what I'm trying to describe. I want to tell you something I thought about once that helped me understand this better. Knowledge opens doors, not loudly, not all at once, but it does. When someone truly understands what they're being taught in school, not just memorizes it, but understands it, that understanding might eventually lead to an A on a test, a certificate, a diploma. When someone becomes genuinely good at swimming, through years of practice most people never see, that ability might eventually lead to a medal around their neck. The grade is visible, the medal is visible. People can hold them, they can show them to others, put them on a wall, keep them in a drawer for the rest of their lives. But neither one is actually the important part. Before the grade, there was understanding. Before the medal, there was ability. The visible reward, the thing everyone sees and congratulates you for, only arrived after something invisible had already changed inside the person carrying it. Nobody applauds the invisible part. Nobody takes a photo of it. But without it, there is no visible part at all. That is what I took with me when I came back. I did not take the A. I did not take the medal. There was no medal to take. This isn't a competition. And tomorrow isn't the finish line with the prize waiting at it. I took the understanding. Because once Understanding is present, really present, not just repeated back like a fact you memorized. Doors can begin to open, not because of magic, not because I suddenly know what's behind them. They open like I finally recognize something I couldn't recognize before. That recognition is the door. There is no separate mechanism behind it. The seeing itself is opening. This, I think, is what this coming back from tomorrow actually means. If I have to put it into words, I return carrying knowledge, but not knowledge of future events. I want to be clear about that distinction, because it is the whole point. And it would be easy for someone hearing this to slide past it. I return with a different way of seeing what's already in front of me. Not a new set of facts about what hasn't happened yet. A new way of looking at what already has. There are still things I cannot explain. There are still things I cannot even say out loud. Not because I'm hiding them, but because I don't have the words for them yet. Maybe I never will. Or maybe the words will come later. The way understanding tends to arrive, quietly, without announcing itself in advance. I do not want to turn what I don't understand into an answer just to make it sound finished. That would be a kind of lie, even if a comforting one. I do not want to claim that I know what's waiting for me up ahead, because I don't. Nobody does. Nobody except the one who knows all of it, who has always known all of it, and who chooses what to reveal and to whom and when. That is not up to me, and I have made my peace with that, because trying to take that role for myself would be its own kind of arrogance. I only know this. The understanding brought me one step closer to whatever, to whoever has been guiding me through all of this from the very beginning. That step matters, even if I can't yet explain exactly where it has placed me. Even if from where I'm standing, the road ahead still looks the same as it always did. There's something else I should mention, because it's part of my experience, even if I don't fully understand myself. For a long time now, I've had moments where people seem to move suddenly in front of me, almost as though they shifted from one position to another faster than I could have followed with my eyes. I've experienced this enough times that I've grown used to it. It doesn't shock me anymore the way it once did. But I want to be careful here. Because it would be easy to build too much on top of this, to turn it into something it isn't. I don't let it become the answer to everything. I don't present it as some kind of power I have. I don't claim that I control it, or summon it, or understand exactly why it happens. It is simply part of what I've experienced, living inside a mind that seems to notice the world a little differently than most people around me. That's all I can honestly say about it. And tomorrow, the whole of what I've been describing is not built on that experience alone. It's a small thread in something much larger, not the foundation the rest of it stands on. Because tomorrow is part of a much longer search than any single moment, any single strange experience, any single walk down any single street. It's connected to questions I have carried for years, some of them since before I even had language sophisticated enough to ask them properly. It's connected to knowledge I've gathered slowly, piece by piece, in ways that rarely felt significant while they were happening. And it's connected to every single moment where understanding quietly replaced confusion, even if that replacement only lasted a little while before new confusion took its place. That's how it seemed to work. Understanding doesn't arrive once and stay forever. It arrives, does its work, and then the search continues, because there's always more ahead. Maybe that's why coming back feels so different from arriving. Arrival sounds final. It sounds like the story is over, like you reached the place you were walking towards, and now there's nothing left to do but stand there and look at it. But coming back means something else entirely. It means something was carried home, not an object you can hold, not a trophy you can display. and certainly not proof that I can stand above anyone else who is also searching in their own way for their own version of tomorrow. Understanding, that's what I carried back. And understanding does not make me the owner of tomorrow. It never has, and I don't expect that to change. It doesn't place the future under my control, not my future, not anyone else's. It doesn't tell me what's going to happen to me, or to the people I love, or to anyone at all. It only changes what I am capable of recognizing right now, in this moment, standing exactly where I'm standing. That's the entire difference, and I think it's worth repeating slowly. Knowing the future would mean possessing an answer before it's time. Reaching into something that isn't mine to reach into. Understanding means becoming better prepared to meet the question honestly when it finally does arrive, in its own time, on its own terms. I choose understanding. I choose it again and again, every time I have to choose. I don't need certainty about every road ahead of me. I don't need to see every possible outcome laid out in advance like a map with the destination already marked. I don't need time to freeze around me, so I can study it before deciding what to do next. I only need to keep going, looking, thinking, imagining, learning, and walking. The same ordinary walking that started all of this in the first place. And that will probably be exactly what I'm still doing when it ends. However it ends. My tomorrow remains real to me. It has never once stopped feeling real. Even on the days when I couldn't explain why, even to myself, but I will not force it to explain itself before I actually reach it. That would be dishonest. Pretending to know something I don't, just to give this story a tidier shape than my actual life has. There are things I still cannot say. There are things I may not be ready to understand yet. And I've stopped feeling ashamed of that. Not knowing it is not the same as failing. So I pray, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide me. I beg Him sincerely, not as a figure of speech, to allow me to come back after tomorrow, whenever that is, however that happens. Not with powers, not with magic, not with ownership of the future that was never mine to own, and I don't ask for it, but with whatever understanding I am meant to carry, whatever He decides I'm ready for, whatever serves the purpose He has for me, even if I never fully see the shape of that purpose while I am alive to walk toward it. Until then, I continue walking through the ordinary world, the same streets I've always walked, the same buildings I've passed 1,000 times without really seeing them, the same people moving through their own lives, carrying their own questions, most of which I'll never know anything about. Nothing needs to stop for me. Nothing needs to bend around for me, reshape itself, make room. I'm not asking the world to change to fit what I'm looking for, because the most important change is not always visible from the outside. It rarely is. In my experience, sometimes the door opens inside the understanding first, quietly, without any outward sign that anything has shifted at all. And only later, sometimes much later, do we recognize where it led. I don't know where mine leads yet. I'm still walking toward finding out.